Ready?
All right, and we are live. So today we are going to be live streaming the FOMC rate decision, where the Federal Reserve announces a rate pause or rate cut. As many of you guys know, there's a very high probability that the Federal Reserve is going to be pausing once again. So we can Fed rate monitor tool, we can pull it up right here. Yeah, May 7th. Oh, what? $4 We're 4 minutes away. Did this thing change? Yeah, 99.8% probability for a rate pause. Okay. Looks like NASDAQ, just like we expected, is beginning to drop, right? Just like we talked about it in today's earlier video. Pretty high probability that the Federal Reserve was going to be pausing today, and markets tend to de-risk prior to that. So not very surprised by that. I'm going to turn off my Discord just to make sure that nothing acts as an issue for this live stream. Can you guys hear me and see me okay? Everything good? It's too obvious that it's going to dump. It might not. Well, then I guess it's not too obvious, right? NASDAQ market is testing previous support range right around 479.60. So again, the 1 minute time frame can be challenging. If you look at the 5 minute time frame, we can clearly see that, again, there's been a previous support range here. Once the report comes out in the next 3 minutes, we will have a better understanding, obviously, if the markets continue to sell off, actually breaking that support, or if for some reason the markets do not care enough, maybe it can find a support here and begin to recover. Remember, markets are incredibly irrational right now, so nothing should surprise you about this. So we will be watching to see what actually gets announced, and that's going to be here on the Trading Tools economic calendar. So I actually wanted to ask you again, we do not have to, but 30 minutes after the rate decision, there's an FOMC press conference, which is where Jerome Powell goes live. He explains why they came to the conclusion of the pause or the cut, whatever it is that gets announced. And then he begins to answer analyst questions. So I don't mind going live for a longer period of time. I just want to make sure enough of you want me to. So if you want me to, get this video to over 1,000 likes and I'll stay live. If not, no hard feelings, I promise you. It's indifferent to me. So you guys just let me know. Smash that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We got TEM with a slight retracement, also beginning to show signs of at support. There it goes, beginning to show early signs of a possible reversal. Ricky, is it going to be tricky today? There's a lot of volatility during days like this. So if you're a complete beginner, there is nothing wrong. If anything, we would encourage it, where you can kind of sit back, relax, and just watch the market react. Watch how the market trades prior. Watch how the market trades once the report is released. And then watch when Jerome Powell begins to speak. And then after he speaks. These are all quick changes of direction. There are many times that when the report comes out, markets can fall. When Jerome Powell begins to speak, if he sounds a little bit more dovish, markets can begin to recover, and maybe makes a comment where markets can either skyrocket or fall even harder, right? It's all dependent on how he sounds, as insane as that sounds, and his tone, if he's hawkish or dovish. So staying cash is never a bad idea. You guys ready? Okay. So again, smash that like button, get this video to over 1,000 likes, and we'll host the live stream for an additional 30 minutes so we can watch Jerome Powell answer some analyst questions. Here we go. Report should be out. Markets should be reacting. And watch it. Let's see if it actually begins to recover. Testing support for QQQ. Breaking support. Let's see if it breaks it. Let's see if we get progress below 479.42 is what we want to see if it breaks below. There's no confirmation of that selling pressure just yet. Here we go, beginning to show signs of a possible reversal. Remember, markets are desperate to recover. They're trying to find every reason to recover. People will say the excuse of, well, this is already priced in. Again, they went with a rate pause. So no surprise there, just coming in as expected. The funny part about this is markets should not be recovering if the Federal Reserve isn't cutting. But again, markets are desperate to hold and sustain these levels. No surprise whatsoever, correct. I mean, there was a very high probability that the Federal Reserve was going to pause. Okay. So it's a rate pause. That is correct. The Federal Reserve has decided to maintain 4.5%, which was, again, the forecast, and this is what was reported. So we are at exactly 4.5%. Now we can update this and see that there's a 74% probability for next month's meeting that the Federal Reserve is going to pause, and a 26% probability, much higher, that the Federal Reserve is going to cut. There it goes, NASDAQ beginning to recover. Nothing new being announced. Again, no reason that markets should be recovering. What's up, what's up? Okay. Oh, I'm live right now. Yeah. Trading sideways as of now. Yep, it looks like it. Let's see how the rest of the market is trading. We got Tesla, a lot of consolidation. TEM trying to make a full recovery. TEM has been incredibly bullish. As you guys can see, it's going back up to try to retest previous highs. TEM has been a notorious stock for pumping and dumping. So it's kind of trading within the middle range of where it tends to find a support and where it tends to peak. But just be careful. This thing does rally for a short period of time, but it does rally hard, and then it comes crashing down. Rallies, comes crashing down. Rallies, comes crashing down. It looks like the rallies are not as great as what they used to be. So I'm happy to see that it's beginning to lose some of its steam. AMD was one of the stocks that I ended up shorting today in today's LPP live trading session. It pushed up, became overbought, opened up a short position, and then bought to cover down here. I walked away, fortunately, with a little bit over $3,500 on the day with, I think it was like a 8-minute short position, maybe a 6-minute start to finish. And I ended up covering pretty early based off previous support range. So very happy with how that trade ended up playing out. How's Apple trading? Apple, I think, is a good indicator on how the market is really expected to do. So Apple has been retracing with lower highs, lower lows. Apple, again, with an incredibly large market cap, doesn't get easily influenced by a bunch of, bullshit news. It doesn't care that, oh, Trump announced that great things are coming. It's like Trump can say whatever it is that he wants, and it can affect the market, right? Just because he knows he can. But it's short-lived. If it doesn't follow through with proper with the expectations of what was offered, then yeah, the market will correct itself. So this is why I always encourage our beginners to ask themselves is this temporary? Anytime that you see a big push or even a big drop, whatever news is acting as the catalyst, ask yourself, is it temporary? Because if so, then maybe you want to make adjustments to, overreacting, right? I think that's an important thing to note, especially as he's notorious for all of his tweets, right? A bunch of empty promises as of now, We'll see if he actually ends up delivering, right? A lot of consolidation here. Here it goes. NASDAQ going right back down to retest. I wouldn't be surprised if the real move happens after market hours. I don't think it's waiting for that. I think it's waiting for Jerome Powell to go live and to answer analyst questions, which is in the next 25 minutes. So where are we at with likes? Let's see. We only have 628 likes. Okay. Again, I'll give it 5 minutes. So for my time, it's 11:06 right now. So by 11:10, again, what I'm asking for is as long as 1,000 people smash that like button and you guys are subscribed to the channel, I'll stay live and we can watch Jerome Powell answer analyst questions. There's a FOMC press conference in the next 24 minutes. So if you want me to stay live so we can watch it together, just drop a thumbs up and get this video to over 1,000 likes. If not, no worries. I'll just close out the live stream at 11:10. Okay? Oh, and there we go. Okay. Big drop here. Love to see it. Look at that. Beautiful. Well deserved. But will it hold? That's the question to ask yourself. Remember, is this temporary? Jerome Powell is about to go live. You guys know that I want the markets to drop selfishly because I want to be able to buy the dip on a lot more than I already have on some of these very valuable companies. But again, it doesn't matter what we want. It doesn't matter what is currently happening. Is it temporary? Ask yourself that question. What is driving this down? Is there extreme volatility right now? Maybe you want to reduce your position size or lock in profits, appropriately. There's nothing wrong with taking profits if you're trading. If you're investing, you really shouldn't be overreacting regardless if the markets push up or down. Nice retracement here on TEM. Still showing signs of a support. Nvidia dropping, lower lows, lower highs. Apple dropping, coming back down to retest previous lows. SQQQ pushing. Be careful, SQQQ has been getting rejected multiple times. It rallies for a short period of time and then dumps. It rallies and then dumps. Again, you're one tweet away from it turning against you. Know when to take profits or reduce your position size. Remember, I want markets to drop. Just because we want something doesn't that mean that we have to be delusional. Understand how markets have been trading recently. Okay? Tesla down to lows of 270. Remember, what we're looking for on Tesla is for Tesla to break below 270. If it does, there's a huge gap down potential. Tesla doesn't belong at $280 per share. We all know that. Fundamentally, it's not doing well right now. Its sales are down year over year. It belongs sub $200. But as long as hype is present, as long as markets are bullish, it's giving Tesla the environment to sustain this hype. Once that support is broken and more fear continues to get injected, if it does, then that's where we can ride this thing all the way back down. Until then, no confirmation. So when in doubt, cash out. Here it goes. TEM is testing support range here around 55.50. Is market still dropping? NASDAQ beginning to show signs of a possible support here. Who's locking in profits? Ricky, would you consider buying Google with the massive drop for your long-term portfolio? Would I consider buying Google? Yes. Does that mean that you should, or just because I would, you should? No. That's not why I would buy something. I don't care if someone else is doing something. It might intrigue me or spark my interest, but you should never be buying just because I'm buying. I'm not going to be like those crypto bros that are saying, if you don't buy Bitcoin, you're an idiot. It's the future. No, it's to each their own. There's a lot of different ways on how to make money in this market. My risk tolerance is not yours. What I see value doesn't need to be met or agreed upon with you as well. Okay? Ricky, do you see this message? Of course, JT. Here it goes, beginning to show signs of a support. Possible reversal forming here on TEM. Possible support also forming there. AMD hitting lows of $97. Beautiful retracement. Man, I should have just held that short on AMD. I mean, much easier to say in hindsight, right? Oh no, what's going on here? It's not loading. Can you guys still hear me and see me okay? Why don't you trade options? I don't like to. I think that it's incredibly risky. I have enough money to trade with shares. And at the end of the day, if my trade doesn't go according to plan, as if I'm investing in something, I don't have to worry about my options expiring. I focus on normally trading good quality companies, and I do it with shares. So worst comes to worst, yeah, I might not have 50 or 100% days, but I also don't lose my entire position either, right? So it comes with the territory. If you want to risk it for the biscuit, feel free to do so. Just because I don't trade options doesn't mean that you shouldn't. I just like making people aware of the risk. And what I've experienced is beginners will trade with options because they think that they have a little bit of money and they think it's a great way to grow their money quickly, but you're always just one bad trade away from losing it all. So what's the point? Just because you have a little bit of money doesn't mean you have to make stupid decisions, right? At least that's not the way that I view it. Can you analyze Google? This live stream probably just won't be for that. We're focused right now on the Fed, and that's what I'm going to pay attention to right now. Okay. This is the official Federal Reserve website. Showing signs of a support here for QQQ, so be cautious. This means that this is a possible resistance for SQQQ, okay? This is a big rip up, no one to take profits. Where's Tesla at? Tesla also beginning to show signs of a possible support here. We want to be careful. Where's PLTR? Love it. Love it. Reaching oversold range. Okay. All right, here we go. TEM, possible drop. Possible break of support. If you look at TEM and we do a quick little analysis, looking at TM and how much downside there is, there's super high uncertainty. The range that it's currently trading at is wild. It's trading at an insane negative PE ratio. That's ridiculous. It's a company that loses $705 million when it comes down to its net income. Its revenue is $693 million, but that means nothing when your company is actually losing money every single year. Again, absolute bullshit companies. This thing has a market cap of $9.6 billion for what? For what? For nothing, right? If you guys remember, Tempest AI, the only reason it began running up was because of Nancy Pelosi. This is a great example of a piece of shit company that is running off of the hype of one person buying it, who is notorious for insider trading. And in my opinion, she is now using her authority and how many people are following her to pump up a stock. But it's indirectly, right? Because she's not telling people to buy. There's companies that track that she's buying it. So therefore, once it's announced and disclosed within 45 days, it's a frenzy. Nothing wrong with her. I mean, at that point, it's legal. She's not breaking any rules. She's just enriching herself by being able to curate all these Reddit traders that buy into the hype. They hold, they don't take profits. And if she ends up selling, I want to remind you, she has 45 days to announce when she liquidates. So she could sell now and you won't hear about it. You don't have to hear about it until 45 days after. Sometimes Nancy Pelosi actually does a really good job disclosing. People talk a lot of crap on her because she's the most popular for doing it, but she actually discloses her trades quite quickly. There's some politicians, the rule is within 45 days. There's some politicians that don't report until 200 to 300 days after. That's insane. But it's because they're not regulated. Like, what's going to happen to them? Nothing. So it's not like they're being fined up the wazoo. I think they get fined like $200. Our speeding tickets cost more than their fines. Remember what they say. Never mind, I don't even want to say it. All right. All right, we have 14 minutes left until Jerome Powell begins to speak. Ricky, can you analyze SMCI? Is it a bad company? And in my opinion, I've talked a lot of crap on SMCI, right? In my opinion, it was an overhyped up company that was being poorly ran because of the CEO. I do think that SMCI, if it were to be ran correctly, kind of like PLTR. PLTR is a really good example of a well-ran company that Wall Street loves. SMCI, everyone's just tired of it. It's had delisting notices. Its CEO continues to fail to successfully run the company. And in my opinion, he's running it to the ground. I think that they need a new CEO, someone to actually take it seriously so this company reports quarter after quarter on time without any accounting irregularities, right? Very simple. But that means that they would have to let go of the CEO, and I don't think that they will. So how do you determine if a company or a stock is overbought or oversold? So on the technicals, you can use indicators, right? There's the RSI indicator, and if it's above 70 or below 30, technically speaking, it's overbought or oversold. If you're talking about fundamentals, like when I'm talking about TEM, big picture, right? I mean, the indicators are still to be used as a reference, but never as a sole reason on why to initiate a trade, right? So it's still overbought based off of previous highs and previous lows. It's still an overbought setup. But if we're talking about fundamentals, why do I say that it's a piece of crap company? It's overvalued and overhyped? Because it's a company that loses, when you look into the fundamentals, $705 million a year, yet it's worth $9 billion. That's bullshit. The only reason, and remember, the only reason that this stock began to skyrocket was because of Nancy Pelosi. It was announced that she bought into the company, and it began to skyrocket from there. Do you guys remember? It was trading at $33 after a continuous downfall, and they had to pump it again. When Nancy Pelosi announced that she bought early this year, boom, it skyrocketed. Nothing changed about the company. The company is still terrible. The company still loses money every year, quarter after quarter. So it's not about my feelings of the company. It's about what it is. It's a bullshit company that runs off of the hype of a politician buying it, who is notorious for buying good companies. But in my opinion, she's picking up on, she didn't even buy that many. I think she bought like $50,000 worth of the stock. But it's not about that. It's the authority that she has. When she buys something, everyone wants to copy because she has been so good at buying different stocks. But again, everyone talked about it when it pumped up. No one wanted to talk about TEM when it went from $91 per share all the way back down to $38, losing over 60% of its value. No one wanted to talk about that, but they love talking about it when it's rallying. Again, be very careful with who you